So while a rainy day on vacation is no fun, trying to run off the beach with all your stuff, getting pummeled in the face by raindrops, never a good day, a cyber attack is also definitely a huge bummer. And while for a rainy day you may just, do some wishful thinking and hope that it doesn't come that day, a cyber attack is really not that easy to try and get away or make a full recovery from. And we all like to think, oh, they won't happen to me, I'm safe, I'm good. But that's really not the case anymore. A cyber attack can be very crippling to your business, whether you lose your data, the ability to work, and it also affects not only just your team, but also your clients, and can also really harm your reputation. So, you can be prepared with a plan of action to help you try and avoid some of the chaos that comes along with these events that are typically unexpected.
That is right, Michaela. And you may be familiar with the term incident response plan. And it's really, what is it? So it's really just a formal way of having an organized approach to addressing and managing cyber attacks or a security breach. And what it boils down to is a couple of things. One, having a way to know that something actually happened. Was there a security incident? What exactly happened? What's the severity? What's the impact? You don't want to rely on the symptoms of an attack to know that something has happened. A bad actor, like that, can be undetected and remain that way in an environment for a really long time, gathering data or causing harm without actually, you or your employees recognizing it. And a fast response is key to reducing the amount of damage a cyber attack can or malicious activity can have on your environment. The second thing is to be able to stop that malicious activity. So we detected it, and now we know the scope of it, but let's stop it from actually doing anything. Let's, stop it in its track and stop it from spreading to other parts of your organization or your network. Resolving the issue at that point, you stopped it. Let's resolve the issue. Let's make sure you clean up any remnants of the bad actor, and also contain it so that it doesn't spread. Having in this step, having a way to a really clear step and plan of action for returning affected technology to its fully operational state is going to be really important. If you have ransomware and your system gets encrypted, you want to be able to recover back to an earlier state so that you can get your access to your data again. The fourth thing is learning from the incident. What weaknesses were present? How can we prevent this from happening again? Surely you can do this at a point in time when an incident happens, but it's actually better to be doing this on a continuous basis so that you can identify vulnerabilities or holes in the environment, so you proactively address weaknesses and don't rely on an incident to happen to identify that there was an incident present. You really, if a cyber, I mentioned this before and I'm going to mention it again, but if a cyber attack stops you from working, you want to rely on a solid business continuity plan to have, and to be able to have alternatives in the event that you have a business process interrupted. You want to be able to get your team back up and working. Minimizing downtime is very critical.
For sure. And, while I mentioned earlier, these events are usually pretty unexpected, there are a few tips to keep in mind that when something like this, an incident occurs, we have a few tips for you to be as successful as you possibly can be while trying to deal with the issue at hand as well. So number one, have reliable backups. It's Marissa's favorite thing in the world. You've probably heard us mention it many a time before, but it truly is so important to getting your organization back up and running as quickly as possible. Your data can be gone in the blink of an eye, and having a reliable backup in place can give you the peace of mind that it all can be recovered. Once it does, it's gone quickly. And it doesn't stop at just having the backups in place. You might have a great backup in place and you're thinking that all your stuff is good to go. You'll be able to recover, no problem at all. But if you don't test those backups and make sure that they're backing up what you think they're backing up, you really have no idea. And so making sure that they're working properly, you have everything backed up that you need it to be backed up on a regular cadence, and it's happening automatically is really important to making sure that your business can recover from a cyber attack. The second tip is have a dedicated incident response team in place before an incident occurs. So having the right people in places for when things go wrong helps to eliminate some of the confusion that happens in the event of a disaster. I'm sure we've all been in situations where something happens and no one really knows what to do and everyone's kind of figuring out, what they can do, and it's a little bit chaotic. So having people in the right position can help you be way more efficient and get things back to normal, much quicker than if you're having to figure out who does what. And clearly defining what each of those team members' responsibilities are beforehand allows you to, again, move quickly and efficiently, saving your organization lots of time and money. Part of this team is often a legal counsel. Some industries have laws that require data protection and data privacy, and a cyber attack can have a lot of legal implications when it comes to those sort of things. So involving a legal counsel in your incident response team is really important as well. The third tip is to have a communication plan in place. So obviously, every incident is going to look different and it's going to need to be tweaked to, fit what you need at the time. But having an outline of how the communication plan should look beforehand saves you a great deal of time in the actual event, and you can make sure that everything is handled appropriately to protect your organization's reputation and others. So for internal folks, who in your organization needs to know immediately of the incident and what needs to be shared with the rest of your team, so that way you can make sure that everyone's aware, but also everyone knows what they need to know. And then on the external side, alerting and responding to potentially impacted customers or vendors and making sure that you're getting in front of the situation so that you're not getting tons and tons of messages coming in, what's going on, how does this affect me, that sort of thing. Plus, if your communication plan is made beforehand in a calm and stable work environment, the message that you're giving out both internally and externally is much more likely to reflect very sound decision making that you would want to send out versus in a chaotic situation of an incident. If you're trying to throw it together right then, it might come off, not really how you want it to sound and kind of disastrous as you're trying to get everything crammed and out. And the last tip would be to have cyber insurance in place. So these attacks can cost a lot of money, and having a cyber insurance plan can help protect your organization from bearing the full cost of an attack should one occur. So having a incident response plan and an outline for how things should work can drastically help minimize the hit to your organization in the event of a cyber attack. Again, saving you lots of valuable time and money. Thanks for joining us today for our summer series on vacation, and we will see you next time.
See you soon.